SMB cybersecurity spend increased to $109 billion by 2026. If you look at 40,000 MSPs in the market, which is the number thrown about by everybody, ConnectWise could say everybody else, 50% of them are not doing cybersecurity in any way, shape, or form. But let's say every one of them were. That means your portion of cybersecurity services is $2,725,000 per year, just on cybersecurity services alone. So one of the questions you'd ask is, tell me why your business is unique. Now, people always ask, what does that have to do with cybersecurity? It doesn't. Not a darn thing, you're right. But you know what it does? If I ask you that question, how much do you want to talk about your business? How much do you want to talk about the things you've done, where you're headed, the new things that you're trying to accomplish? Business owners love that. And what it does is it takes them from the crossed arms and crossed legs scenario to opening up, leaning forward, and wanting to talk to you. So what you've just done is you've just opened the door for the rest of the conversation. If you could change anything about your IT organization, what would that be? You want this information. They're a decision maker. What don't they like? What's the most important thing an IT service provider can do for you? What are the things that meet their expectations? Even if they're not realistic, you still want to understand their thought process. Because again, you're trying to decide if this is a customer you want. What are you doing to proactively protect your organization from a breach? If they look at you like Scooby-Doo used to look and go, Scooby-Doo, well, you know what you're dealing with there. They're not doing anything around cybersecurity. They're not doing anything proactive. But that gives you just a ton of information. What are the top 3 things you took away from your last QBR with your current provider? Now, I get pushed back on this one all the time. Why do I care about that? Well, again, psychology 101. First of all, do they attend their QBRs? Or should I say, first of all, is the provider having QBRs?
Yes.
Second of all, do they actually show up to them? Third of all, do they pay attention? Because if they can tell you 3 things they got out of their last QBR, you know they attend, they're having them and expect them, and they're paying attention. Or they're not having them, or they're having them, they don't show up, or they're having them, they show up and they're not paying attention. But this is important information to have. And you're asking these questions because although it's not closing the sale, it's helping you understand the environment and what the culture is like and who the decision maker is and how they think. So you can decide if this is something you want to jump into. And if you do, you understand the things you're jumping into. When you sit down with a customer, whether you called them or they called you, you always want to ask, why us? Why now? What made you call? Even if you called them, there's a reason why they accepted the appointment. I don't know about you, but I want to know why. Doesn't that give you a lot of information as to why they were willing to talk to you? You know, what prompted this? What happened? And if they called you a special, what? And some people go, again, I don't care. I'm here. No, you should care because there's a reason, which is something you need to talk about and show that you can help them overcome whatever that problem is. The reality is too many people don't ask why. Mm-hmm. And when you were a 5-year-old, all you did was ask why. And the reason why is because you were curious. You wanted to understand. Let that inner 5-year-old out and ask questions. Ask questions to understand what's going on. So you've had your first meeting and you've decided this is someone you may want to work with. Well, they don't know what's going on in their environment. They have no idea. Both technically, personally, they have no idea. So you want to show them what's going on, not just tell them. So you're going to use an assessment to show the specific issues going on in their business. But you're not going to present the results. You're going to educate the client. You're going to talk in business terms, right? Based on the things you find, what is the effect, the net effect it could have on them and their business? You can use it to create urgency. Call them up and say, hey, by the way, I got the results back of your assessment. There's some things here that actually concern me. I'd love to at least go through those with you. Could you give me a call back? You know what? 50% of the time, they're going to call you back because you just used a word that causes action. I'm concerned. Very carefully, that word was chosen. I'm concerned.
Do you feel that businesses push back on an MSP when they even try to do an assessment on the business?
Sometimes, sometimes it depends on how they're doing the assessment, what they say they're doing it for, if
Mhm.
they're charging or not charging.
Mhm.
And the charging or not charging thing, I think is really up to the MSP and how they feel about the customer and what their normal process is. I've seen MSPs successfully sell it.
Mhm.
I've seen MSPs that did it at no charge because it's part of the process as to whether they even want them as a customer.
Got it.
But if you've got a customer that pushes back on you personally not taking their word for stuff or their current MSP's word for stuff as to what's going on, that's a signal you should run.
Mhm.
And the reason why is, why do they care? Why do they care if you want to dig in and find out what's going on so you can better understand and provide them better services or at least a better conversation as to what you found? The only thing I can think of is they're scared you're going to sell them on something.
Right.
Well, guess what? One, you're not there to sell them on anything. That's why you show them and you don't tell them, right? You're going to discuss what you found. You're going to discuss the business impact of what you found. Okay. Ever give them the assessment? You do not send this via email. Okay. This is a one-on-one meeting with the decision maker. If they won't let you present it in person, they get nothing. Right? This is for your advantage and partly theirs, but this is for your advantage. Don't do work and then just give it up and hope they're going to call you back. Because you know what? If you do that, 75, 80% of the time, they're not going to. They're going to take your assessment. They're going to go to their current MSP or someone else and go, thank you very much.
Yep.
Remember, even if you do it at no charge, free is never free. There's always an opportunity cost. Okay. You took up time, effort, and energy to do this. There's a cost associated with that. Don't be willing to give it up if you don't get anything in return. Be involved in your client's business. Understand any compliance frameworks they must meet. Understand their cyber liability insurance policy. If you don't do this, someone else will. And that's not fun. That's fact. Okay. And I hear a lot, well, they don't care about their compliance frameworks. If you've got a medical practice and they refuse to be HIPAA compliant, you have two choices. Okay. First is to behind their back, make them HIPAA compliant to the best of your ability. Technologically, right? You're not responsible for the physical and administrative, but you are responsible for the technology. So the security stack you put in place, right, needs to make them HIPAA compliant, whether they like it or not. Don't talk to them about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
If we're their MSP and they're relying, just do it. Second thing, they won't let you do it. Then you run. Guess what happens if your customer gets audited? Their accounting, their law firm, and their IT firm get audited. All three of those will get audited. Cyber liability insurance is one of those things that you must have, but customers all the time, meaning not the MSP, customers, sign things and attest to things, and they have no idea what they just attested to. They have no idea. They don't know what they signed. And there are 10, 12, 15 security controls that they have to have in place. Now, this presents a problem because if they ever get audited, if they ever get breached, the insurance company is in their right to not pay out, not a cent. You as their MSP come in, look at their policy, understand the things they're not meeting. Now you can have a business meeting. You can talk to them about, hey, by the way, there are 12 controls in here. And if we don't get these in place quickly, your policy will never pay out. Insurance companies are partnering with MSPs now, where if a customer says, I'm not sure or I don't know, they're sending their own MSPs in to verify those controls and make sure they're in place.
This is interesting, right? Because I think what you're saying is it's almost not optional for an MSP to sit back and not have this conversation. If you don't have it with their client today, chances are their insurance company is sending an MSP across. And the next thing you know, that MSP is in there competing for your business with that client.
You talk to them at their level. Don't use technical terms. Don't talk about technology features. Talk in plain English and talk about things from a business perspective. They care about business. They don't care about technology. They just want the technology to work. Remember something. When you're selling cybersecurity services, and I'm going to patent this because everybody seems to love this, there are three things you're doing, and that's it. Three things. You're protecting that customer's brand, people, and profits. That's it. You're not increasing their security on their email. You're not making things faster. You're not patching their systems. Those are things they don't understand and they don't care about. I'm not saying they shouldn't be done, and I'm not saying that's not your job. I'm saying in your conversation with the decision maker, especially the CEO of an SMB, your job is to protect their brand, people, and profits. Every time if you have a conversation with them, those are the things that you're talking about, how you're doing that, you're going to win 90% of the time.
Okay.
Don't assume. Security plan. Look, this is not popular. I know it's not, but I'm telling you it works. Here's why. Do you think your customer's ever going to get breached? I don't know about you, but I know they are. Here's what you do. You don't have the money or the time to keep up with all the bad guys. So whether it's minor, major, whatever, no matter what you do, at some point, your customer's going to suffer somewhat of a breach. They know that also. I don't care what they say. So here's my question. What if you told them, by the way, one of the things that separates us from our competition is we have a security plan, because the reality is it's not if, but when you're going to get breached. It could be very minor because I'm doing my best to protect you. Or, no matter what I do, people find ways. But here's the cool part. I have, and I'm just picking this part out, a 5-step process, a 6-step. I've done this before. I have a process that I've developed to be able to attack this and get you back up and running quickly. If I can't do it, I have the resources to call immediately. I am set up where if there's ever a problem, I know exactly what to do, who to go to, how to do it, and make sure you're back up and running as quickly as possible. Now, that doesn't seem like a positive conversation, but you know what? It's reality. And how many MSPs do you think are having that conversation? No. So we talked about review their cyber insurance policy. The next thing, please do not break out your pricing of tools. Nobody cares. And all you're going to do is let them pick and choose what they want. Okay? They're going to go, what's this? Because that's the most expensive item on the list. And you're going to go, vulnerability scanning. And they're going to go, well, I don't really need that then. And there are a couple reasons. First of all, when you look at that, if you're bundling out stuff, if you're showing the price of each thing, well, then you're giving them a menu. And you say, well, no, I'm not. Well, no, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them a menu to pick from, whether you like it or not, and they're going to get rid of the most expensive thing. Okay. The reality is, take your regular bundle, your what I'll call basic MSP day-to-day bundle, and create a security stack. Okay. Your security stack has your stuff in it. Period. End of story. It's got what you think should be in there. Your proactive, your testing, and your reactive stuff in there. It's not they get a choice. You're breaking it out in these two different pieces so they can see, here's what, if an MSP came in and said they were competing with me, here's my price. Here's, however, the price of the security that I'm putting on you. And I have the right to increase this price by X%, whatever you think, Mr. MSP, 10%, 5%, 3%, I don't care, every 6 months. And the reason I have the right to do this, even if I sign a 3-year contract with you, is because this is such a fluid thing, cybersecurity. I may need to get new tools, add tools, take away tools, change things. If I don't, I'm not going to increase your price. But if I do, I want to be upfront with you and tell you it might happen. I'll let you know if it happens, but this is the way it's going to be for me to be able to protect you. You're being upfront with them, right? And they're also not looking at your price and going, it's $250 a month. And this MSP came in for $125 a seat or person, or however you want to look at it, however you price it. Why are you so much more expensive? Now you have to sell your way out of it. Versus you saying, look, what they're doing, right? You've already broken it out, is this piece, $115 per seat. I'm now adding a cybersecurity stack. Ask them to break out their cybersecurity stack, not the pieces and parts, the stack. Most SMB owners wouldn't know technical stuff if you put it in front of their face with a definition and anything else. They'd have no idea what you're talking about. Just like if you talk to them in a foreign language, they didn't understand it all. So what you're doing then is you're allowing them to say, this is an add-on. And I don't need any add-ons because it's more money.